Right, that's everyone at the minute.
So are we good to go, Emma?
Yeah, everyone's in now.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the February meeting of the Amenities Committee of Chapel Parish Council. The councillors have got an agenda in front of them, and we'll start with the number 1, which is public speaking, Emma.
Nobody's asked to.
No?
No.
Smashing. Move on. Number 2, apologies and absence, Emma. But I think everybody's here.
Yeah, everyone's here.
Fabulous. Number 3. So to the councillors and those listening, Emma and I are trying a different style of approach to the meeting this month, in as much as that number 3 is really for Emma and I just to give you an update on where things are. We've an awful lot bubbling behind the scenes, and we don't want to jog every amenities committee up with a point. So Emma, can you just briefly run through that, or would you like me to step in at some point?
No, I'll do it if you want.
Yes, please, if you don't mind. If you could just let us know where we're up to with each and every one, please, Emma.
Yeah, I'll just
put me in the waiting room for the first item, please.
Yeah, hold on a minute. I'll just put Chris in there for now.
Thank you.
So the first one, we've put this on the agenda, but it's also now come up that we've had development control at High Peak Borough Council. So the dry stone wall at the Lays, as part of Natural Stone's application, they are going to rebuild that wall. And I believe High Peak will be in contact with us with regards to where, boundaries and this kind of thing. So when they do, obviously I'll let you know, because we don't want it done, you need it done the full length, don't you, and whatnot. But as part of the application, apparently there has been a footpath diversion because of the car park and dangers and this and the other, but we're going to have to wait for another application to go in for that. So where the original gap was in the wall to allow for the footpath, it may very well not be exactly where it used to be. But again, that's up to High Peak to decide if they're going to allow a diversion. But I'll keep you up to date with it. But as it stands, they, as part of their condition, will have to reinstate the wall. So saves us doing it. Hold on, let me put Chris back in a minute. Is he back? Oh, yeah, he's back. Right, so the next item, the plate inspection quotes. I've only managed to get 2. People don't seem overly that clean at quoting for them. So we've had 2 companies, which I've sent you with them out. They're both obviously more expensive than what we paid at the moment. And one of them will only do it quarterly as opposed to monthly. So I am still waiting on other people, and I can update you when I get any more prices for that. The planter locations, I have put into Derbyshire County Council applications for 3 as it stands at the minute. The one at Sparrow Pit that Chris wanted on the, on the island. The one on the corner of Park Road where we said it would be quite handy to stop people parking on the pavement. And the other one to replace the damaged or the really old plants on Longmead Drive. I've had nothing back off DCC, but they have had the full applications. So hopefully we'll hear something soon. The picnic bench quotes. Now I've sent you all over some quotes. They've obviously got a couple of different types of benches, the picnic benches. In terms of the ones with disabled access, you can either go kind of from the end or almost have like a little bit of a seat missing to go in. So I don't know, we can have a discussion as to which ones you prefer. Obviously, there's a vast difference in cost depending where you get them from. And a lot of the time the difference was the size, but I've tried to get ones that are quite similar in size, but there does seem to be quite a big gap in how much they are. And also Sue has managed to get hold of Leander with regards to the cast iron benches. But the price they've given us doesn't include the logo being set on the side. So obviously you've seen the cost of those. think we just need to see how many we actually are missing for them, to be fair.
And I just,
Oh, sorry. Only.
yeah, we're actually, the quote they gave us was for, without the actual bit in the middle to stick our logo on, because our logos are actually separate from the benches themselves. So we have sent them we sent them a couple of pictures of obviously our benches, and we're just waiting for them to get back to us on that.
Okay. Thanks, Phil. But before we move on, I had intended to ask the councillors to ask questions at the end of your segment. However, I've got 2 hands up, so I'll just go to Nigel, please.
Okay.
Hi, yes. Chris passed around a picnic bench design earlier this week, and it seems to be easier for less mobile people to get in and out of the bench. So would it be possible to add that to the mix as one of the choices that we could decide from?
I would have I wouldn't be against that at all, Nigel. Is that possible, please?
Yeah, I'll print it off and then
Smashing.
you can just all decide which ones you feel.
Have we looked into the
Thank you, Nigel. Chris? You're muted, my friend.
The same as Nigel. I think if we're going to buy one, buy the ones which are semi-mobility access from the side as well, because it's no good an old couple going on, one's in a wheelchair and they can sit down and the other one can't get the leg over the thing.
No, absolutely. It's a great point, Chris. Taken on board, and we'll move forward with that one. Thank you, Chris. Stuart? Sorry.
The other thing is, on the bench thing, we've got 2 of the old type in the play area for sitting down, and you just don't know they're there as architectural ones. I think maybe a good idea to buy some much cheaper ones which don't have all the logo and the cast iron, and then deploy them elsewhere as architectural ones, because you just can't see them. They're sort of, they just blend in with the railings. You don't get the architectural interest. So I just thought it would save some money, but have the same effect. And that's me done.
Thank you, Chris. Stuart?
Yeah, just 2 points, if I may, Jace, on this one. I like the idea of the benches that are more accessible with the wheelchairs. And I think it would be worth looking into, because I do think a second point on this is not just necessarily wheelchairs, like with those benches where they've got the overhang. Kids, as you know, will be kids. They love to rush up, eat a bit and run away again and what have you. And if parents are sat there, it's probably more versatile that they can even have a buggy there rather than a wheelchair, as well as kids. So I do like the idea of the overhang as such. So that's one comment on that. But on the other comment about the cast iron benches with the logos, I was wondering with the picnic tables and such, whether they did actually any benches that we could actually put our logos in, so that we can actually have everything, as we said earlier, so that they all actually match and they come from the same place, so that it looks uniform. It's just a thought.
Actually, it's a really good point, that, Stuart. So it's something that Emma and I will look into following this meeting, and we will get back to you in due course. So I appreciate those questions so far, councillors. If we could just crack on now, please, Emma.
Yeah, gotcha. So with that one, do you want me to get some prices for some benches to replace, the play area? Take those proper benches out and just get a price for some that go in the play area. Something metal that kind of matches with the back, if you know what I mean. That matches.
I believe that's what. Chris, can you just confirm that's exactly what you was after? Yeah,
that's exactly what I think, and I think it's we're not losing quality. It's just that they don't visually work there. So still quality, but not the architectural one. We'll probably get half the price, and it just seems sensible if everybody else is agreeing.
Yeah, smashing.
Okay,
thank you, Emma.
Fine. Yeah, no, I'll get them. It's fine.
Smashing.
The next one quickly is the lawnmower grant application. So I've completed it. Now, me and Phil have really struggled though to get any kind of a price, he knows exactly what kind of lawnmower he's looking for. We have really struggled to get a price for a brand new one. They literally all want to come down and bring a lawnmower before they'll tell him how much they are. So he's got a really good rough idea. So because the grant on average pays out, or they say they pay out 15 to 20,000, Phil said a new one is possibly going to be between 40 and 50 anyway. I didn't know if you wanted me to just put in for the 20 and see if we would get it. But obviously a new one, you would be then looking at about 40, 45. We may not get anything, because when they've emailed me back, they have said that it's because it's going to be used at different sites and this, that, and the other. They're not, they can't be 100% sure whether we would be allowed to have it, but they've just said, just basically put one in and just see, which is, so everything I'm waiting for is literally the price, because I'd rather send it with a quote, because I'm sure they'll come back and ask for one. But we seem to be struggling at the minute.
Okay, Emma, we've got a couple of hands up. We've got Chris, please.
Okay, this subject came up before, and I think the idea was that this one stays permanently in the park, which covers the lottery criteria, and the other one travels about. Now, the fact that we get it and 6 months later we change our mind, things like that happen, I suppose. But at the date of the lottery grant, anyway, if you're with me.
You mean the quarry grant?
Yeah, sorry, the quarry grant. Yeah, the landfill thing.
Yeah.
I think we should apply for it being permanently in the park. I mean, obviously, then we can always revisit it 6 months after we get it.
Right. Okay.
If that helps get it.
So early doors, you'd like us to suggest that this park will remain in Chapel Memorial Park, and see if that helps the quote move forward.
Yes, please.
Emma, can we do that, please?
Yeah, I'll put on that it's used at one site, yeah.
Thank you. So we've got two more hands up, Emma. Yeah, Nigel, please, second.
Yeah, I know we discussed this recently, and we decided to go for a cheaper option of a mower. Now, our finances have materially changed since then, and so I would say that whereas when we took the decision last time, we were looking around for savings everywhere. I would be more willing now to invest in the mower that we need long term.
Thank you, Nigel. Thank you. Appreciate that. Stuart?
Yeah, well, just 2 points. I've got a motion in later to deal with, like Nigel has mentioned, so we'll deal with that then. But on this one, because of the grant, 2 points just to make. If we just put down the Memorial Park with the quarries levy, we might get excluded because it might be too far away from the quarries. That's why we'd mentioned of holes in that respect. It depends on the criteria. But the other thing is, I was going to ask the question in the respect of, if it's a grant, if they only pay out a percentage of the grant, and like Emma's just said, the 20 grand as such, would we actually be better putting the grant in for a new mower that was the full amount at 40 or 50, and then we might get the 20, because they might say we're entitled to half of it, or a percentage of it. If we only put in for 20 and they say we're only entitled to half of it, they might only give us 10. So do we go as though it's a new mower? Just a couple of questions for thinking about when filling the form in.
Yeah, if I could just come back on that, it's the valid points against you. However, I would just say that I think we're probably closer to the quarry than Chapel-town, only by a fraction.
Yeah, you see why I'm asking the questions, though.
Yeah, no,
and why I'm saying the full price.
So okay. It's a valid point. Chris?
It's 10 miles, the criteria. Emma has got on that paperwork, I think, because I said everybody copies, I believe it's 10 miles, but Emma can check that, but I'm fairly certain it's 10 miles from a quarry.
Yeah, we are within the range. She just said if it was to be used at multiple sites, we may struggle. So right, yeah. If you want me to put down one.
Yeah, so Emma, if we could just let's prioritise the Memorial Park on this grant application then, please.
Yeah. Thank
you. So now you're on to the electricity supply, please, Emma.
All right, yeah. Finally, we've managed to get hold of who we need to get hold of. They replied while I was off last week. So Sue has very kindly kind of filled the form in, and but they'll come back and basically said it's not a survey that they'll do. They won't come and tell us what we need or what's there. We literally have to tell them what we want. So, and I'm not an electrician. Did you manage to get on that?
No, he's going to try and come next week.
Phil has spoken to the electrician who kind of works at the town hall and whatnot, and he does a lot of stuff up at the park. So he's going to come next week and have a look to see what we actually do have, you know, what kind of supply it is, and then Mark will be able to actually tell us what it is we will need, and then I can complete that form and send it off and see what Electricity Northwest are actually saying.
Okay, right. So, has anybody got questions? So, I see Stuart's got his hand up. Anybody else? Stuart first, please.
Just to say on this one, Jason, for when they're asking the electrician more than anything, because it's the way it's been mentioned in the past that we wanted to actually be able to run a ring main as such. If you take it on a household one where you've got all your plugs that you plug into, a ring as such round the whole park, so that we could connect in to an electrical supply all round the park as such, to either do CCTV at whichever entrance or wherever, and lights wherever. And also we said we'd possibly, where the yard is, or the other garage, to have a washing point so we could have some power there to be able to see in the other garage and the washing point as such. So I would call it, so I would actually say it's like a ring main, so we can tap into it all the way around the park or something like that. I don't know if Phil can actually have a word with the electrician along those lines, you know what I mean? Because that's probably what we'd be looking at.
Thank you, Stuart. Emma, after the meeting, or maybe on Monday, I'll send you the phone number of our electricity agent, I suppose. He's the guy that looks after this area. He's called Alex. And I think what we ought to do is we ought to give Alex a call, and he could perhaps meet Phil at the park. Yeah. And then we could throw some ideas around and let the actual board lead us along the right path, do you think?
Yeah, because like I said, I'd assume that as an electricity board, they would be able to come and tell you and almost do a little mini survey. But
right, well, I'll ring him, Emma, and then I'll make sure he's okay that I can send your number across, and then we'll arrange a meeting. So we've got two quick questions here, Chris, and then Nigel.
A quickie. Assuming it is three-phase that we're being told now, and there's a spare phase, then you'd have to have the meter next to the present meter, really, and then you'd run an armoured cable to wherever you want. You can make a ring main armoured cable. Even you could tell from the bills what sort of supply it is. I mean, and it all depends whether the bowling club gets a separate bill from the electricity board. But if there's any chance of sending me the bill for both the two present meters, I could tell you a lot of it if you want me to, or I'm happy if you go ahead with this, but I could give you some.
Can I just cut in there, Chris? The way it works at the moment is that we only have one cable coming into our hut. Now, I don't think that is three-phase. I'm not an electrician, but one of my experience, I don't think it is. And the way it works at the moment is that there's actually two electric meters. So at the beginning of the bowling season, we take a reading for the bowling club. And then at the end of the season, we take another reading, and then we send them a bill for the electric. And then we have a separate one for us.
Okay.
Yeah, we only get one bill for the
we only actually get one bill, but we've actually got 2 meters.
Sue has told us we've got a three-phase supply bill. She sent us an email and saying it was
yeah, she said to me she thinks she's got it wrong, she just assumed it was a three-phase.
Right. All we're doing is based on a three-phase supply. You know, all the conversations we've been having the last few days are based on.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Look, if we just interject here, so what we'll do is we'll get the official chat from the electricity board involved. We'll work out exactly what we've got, what we need to move forward, because this actually is one of my priorities for the next 12 months. I really want to see this move forward and happen. So I'm really keen to get this moving. So we'll get the experts involved. I appreciate your offer of help, Chris, and if I need it, we'll come to you. But Emma and I will get the electricity board involved alongside Phil. Phil can take it from there. Is that okay, Emma? Phil?
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
Super. Thanks very much. Right. Okay. Next one is the bicycle racks, please, Em.
We've still not heard anything back. Me and Sue have emailed Lindsay Burton over a couple of things because we just wanted to know what type of rack it was, the size, the weight, because obviously there was some suggestion when we spoke last time that people were going to keep them in the shop so they weren't kept on the pavement. And I just thought, oh, well, actually, how big and heavy are these racks? But unfortunately, we've not had anything back off her. So, but I did also mention to you that we do have two here, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what everyone's feelings are, whether you want to go with the ones here or whether we want to try and find out what they look like. I don't know if they're like a folding thing from Derbyshire. I don't know.
Let's throw
what
it
it
out.
is, which is.
Let's throw it out, Emma. Nigel, you've got your hand up, please, friend.
Yeah, it was actually for the electricity supply. I just think that perhaps we have budgeted money. We've got £40,000, I think, from last year's budget earmarked for CCTV and lighting. And I just think that I would like to propose that you go away with the assistant clerk. You get it costed out, and then you just do it. I mean, it's not installing a new power supply or a meter is not something that you're going to competitive quote about. There is going to be a cost, and I just think we should vote to allow you and the assistant clerk to just get it done.
Yeah, I appreciate that call, Nigel. But what I would like to do is I just want to, before we just jump in with both feet, what I want to do is I want to be led by the experts, and then we haven't really decided what. First of all, we need to know what phase we've got and what we need to do to get the phase up and running. Secondly, we haven't decided, although Stuart has touched upon it, whether we're going to have a ring main or what we're wanting to achieve, because we've never really got past the first base, if you like, because we've never been able to get over to the electric board. What I would like to do is get all our ducks in a row, if you like, and then at the next meeting, I understand your frustration, and I know you're keen to get on, but I just want to get things right. So one more month in amongst many other months won't make that such a difference, I don't think. So if bear with me one more month, and then we'll know where we're heading with that. Is that okay? Thanks, Nigel. I do appreciate that, though, Nigel. Thank you, Emma. So right, councillors, back onto the bicycle racks. We just jump back a little bit there. So, has anybody got anything they'd like to say on this? Now, I know Emma has tried with this one. Now, we're not having a lot of joy at this moment in time. But if you just listen to what she's just said, we do have 2 bike racks in the parish already. So, as somebody take the floor, please. Anybody?
You muted, Stella.
Sure.
Yeah.
Stella, thank you.
Right, yeah, it's all right. I don't think you see me hand tonight. Today. Right, I think we do need them up on the marketplace area. And I know it's not our land and everything, but I think we really need to look at getting some put in near where the stocks or that area about. Because that's what, I mean, this week, there's been about 10 cyclists stopping. Right. But they've got to be able to see the bikes.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
They hate going in the cafe that's open next. I mean, I'm not opening the days. I've got 2 rings on my wall for bikes, but
okay.
We need to look into whether we can have them put there.
I'm going to come back to you in a minute, Stella, actually. But Chris, Stuart.
Just a quickie. The ones that Lindsay thought she may be able to get, have they fallen through? That's the question.
We've not heard anything at all. Like I said, we've emailed over a couple of things. I've not had anything back at all. But the ones that she did say she could get, I just wanted to check because obviously there was some suggestion that because it's not our land that they would be taken back into of an evening, sort of removed and put inside out of the way. But obviously, you know, they're quite bulky, big things, aren't they? But I thought, I don't know if they're kind of like a foldable thing. So I just wanted to clarify. But unfortunately, I've not had no joy.
Okay, Stuart?
Yeah, 2 points with this one in the respect of, I think we should chase up with Lindsay and find out whether we can get any free racks off of them. Because, you know, if we can get them off them, we can look at putting more elsewhere in the town. But the other part of this is, I know it was mentioned about them being taken in and that. And I actually agree with Stella that people like to be able to be with the bike so that it's not stolen and they can see it. And I had noticed the other day when I was out at the co-op shopping, people actually sit on the benches by the railings with their bikes and that. And I just wondered, whilst we're getting hold of Lindsay, because she's dealing with stuff and the regeneration and the marketplace, even though the marketplace and where the seats are and the cenotaph and everything, whether or not one could actually could be actually fitted there, whether we could, because I think the marketplace is the right place to have it, whether they'd agree to doing it somewhere there, you know, like which is on top of the public toilets, somewhere there where the seats are, and ask the question.
Yeah, thank you, Stuart. So Stella, can I just come back to you, please?
Yeah.
What would you mind getting involved with Emma? And can you take this one and run with it, please, with Emma?
Yeah. Yeah. You want me to get in touch with Lindsay again?
Emma, if you and Stella can take this one forward, if that's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Thank you.
I mean, staying on the removable ones, if they're not too heavy, I honestly don't mind putting them out in the weekend when I'm not open and bringing them in. But I mean, I don't, you know, that's only for so long while I'm here, isn't it? If I move or anything, then I'm not going to be able to do that.
Yeah, so
but it's a start.
If you can work with Emma and then smash it, thanks. Right, okay. The next one's Dove's allotment waiting list, Emma.
There's currently one gentleman on there, but he's only been on for 2 weeks. Okay. I have just leased out, well, since December, not just. 1, 2, 3, 4. So obviously a lady's given 2 up, and then I've terminated 2 leases. So these new people that have gone on, I would be very surprised if all 4 of them actually, you know, got stuck in. So I don't think he'll be on there that long. He has put himself on at the courses as well, I believe. But that's all we've got at Dove's at the minute.
Okay, right. So just to the councillors, this is my addition to the actual agenda. The target is 0 people on a waiting list. If the waiting list starts to grow, we're doing something wrong. You know, so this will be a quick monthly report, and this is for something that Emma and I will work on. War memorial lights, please, Emma.
Just to say that's done. Phil started that.
Fabulous, superb. Yeah. Right, thank you, Emma, for that time. Very good. It went a little bit longer than I anticipated, but we will fine tune this for the next one. Thank you, Emma, for your support in the last few weeks. Number 4, the play area inspections, councillors. This is an addition that I've added, and I asked for you to be sent December, January, and February's play inspections so that you could have a quick look over them. Has any of you got any questions that you'd like to raise before I crack on?
Jason, am I looking at a different amenities agenda then? Because I've got 2.
Have you?
Right. Yeah.
Are you
the drainage,
Are you okay? Right. Okay, Nigel, hands up, please. Nigel?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask the question whether everything that's been pointed out, such as the moss on the play equipment, a couple of loose screws, has it all been fixed?
Yes.
It's a great point.
Can I just explain the process?
Yes, please.
Basically, we have a weekly checklist for the insurance company. That is signed every week by me, and everything is acted upon more or less straight away when we get the report through from IP Borough. And obviously there's things that we can fix and things that we can't fix. Like at the moment, we're just waiting on for the gates at the walls, some information off IP Borough for that. But mainly, I have a check sheet, which is stipulated by the insurance company. And we just work through it. You know, everything does get done. Like the other week, there was a couple of broken brackets on the mugger. Now, Peter, who does the inspection, he doesn't actually do any welding. So I hired a welder and I welded up myself. So that's just an example of, you know, what we do actually do.
Yeah, like Phil said, the only thing we're waiting on at the minute is the gate at Dove Holes, which is a self-closing gate. So this is the issue, you see. It has a specific part. But I've emailed and they've said that there's no sort of any risk or, you know, immediate danger. It just literally will need replacing. So they are currently finding the parts. They've come and got the model number and whatever it is they've got. So they'll order the part and then they'll tell us how much it is and we'll get it on. But they said there's no immediate kind of risk with it, you know, like for trapping fingers and stuff. It's just unfortunate it's a self-closing gate. And the spring, we've already had one of these. It's probably about 3 or 4 years ago. They do seem to go quite a bit. Whereas the gentleman who used to it with High Peak, he would just fit them as well. So it'd be quite easy. But I don't know what's going to happen now. They might tell us where to get them and then I'm sure Phil can.
Yeah, so I've got a couple of questions here, Emma, please, Phil. Is that the Dove Holes gate was mentioned twice, wasn't it? So it was mentioned in January and then in December 20, January 21, and the category C, and that gives us 6 to 12 months to react. But if something's repeatedly being picked up, then how does it escalate to a category B? Are there certain criteria that it needs to?
No, not really. I mean, we only go off obviously their inspections. I mean, the inspections I do are sort of visual, just to make sure there's nothing actually dropping bits. And as a general rule, it's like, for instance, that gate.
Yeah.
As a general rule, I got the report and then I go up and inspect it. Now, when I went up, I greased the whole thing up, and it was actually working quite freely. I've been up there twice and re-greased it. So Peter, who does the inspections, we then obviously contact him and tell him whether, you know, we want him to take it further on our behalf. Generally, from my experience, if we get a category C, it doesn't actually get to B or A, to be fair.
Right.
It's generally sorted out. But obviously, with that instance with the gate, I mean, it's taken a bit of time because last time the other gate broke, and the chap Brian who used to do that job, he just went and fixed it without problem. But obviously, criteria's changed. So yeah, it's not that often actually, you know, things get worse and worse. I mean, the welding on the mugger, for instance, I mean, I did ring him up and he said, well, we don't do welding. So I hired a welder from Tool Hire and I did it myself. So yeah, it's sometimes it is a bit of a waiting game because obviously something we cannot fix.
Right.
So it's one of them, you know, we try and get them fixed as quickly as possible, but sometimes it takes a bit longer, obviously, because High Peak Borough, you know, they've got to go through the motions, and obviously they've got to send us a quote in as well if it's over £200.
Right. So that's the procedure then, Phil. Is if the job can be done under £200, High Peak Borough Council takes upon themselves to repair it. Yeah. And if it goes over 200, they've got to come back to the council.
Yeah, they send a quote in for it.
Right.
Unless we can repair it ourselves, and then we do.
Right.
You know things like the walls, the slippery steps. I mean, some of the actual steps of the woods, and they were rotten. You know, so I've replaced a couple of the rotten ones.
But he didn't pick up on that though, did he, Phil?
He did say they were slippery. He didn't say they were.
Yeah,
he said they were slippery.
No, the rotten ones they're actually quite a while ago. Actually, well, it's not the actual report from last year, but that's just an example, you know, of what we do and what they do, you know.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Chris.
Given that the park inspection contract is due for renewal, now it's a question of High Peak Council have they actually upped their game, because we did have problems with them, didn't we? We weren't happy with the quality, but I'd just like to ask, have they upped their game, and should we would the idea be running for another year and, you know, and manage the situation?
It's a valid point, Phil. What do you think?
Me personally, I mean, I've got a problem with them. You know, I mean, they accommodate as best as what they can. And it's going off what Emma said about the other two quotes that we've got in. I mean, they are the cheapest. You see, another. I mean, Peter, who does them, he's not been doing them for that long. He's quite new to the job. But also, you know, there is a couple of reports that are slightly different than what he's written out. Now, when I rang him, he actually said that was when he was on holiday and somebody else did them. So that's probably why, you know, there's a couple that are slightly different. But as a general rule, you know, I mean, me personally, I'm fine with the inspections. They do actually say how good our equipment is. They regularly say that our equipment is absolutely superb compared to a lot of the other parks that they inspect. You know, and they do gloss up and all over the place. You know, and they do say that our equipment is the best out of them all. So I've not got a problem with it at all, really.
No, okay, I appreciate that, Phil. But if I could just come in there, one of the concerns I have is about the inspections. That I want them to be a proper inspection and not almost like a walk past. And I know that's controversial. However, in June 20, it was picked upon by one inspector that the surface of the skate park was crumbling, and therefore it becomes a trip hazard, and that is an issue. And yet we've changed inspectors, and that issue's gone away. Yet we've not actually facilitated the repair just yet. And also part of the inspection of the park should be the quality of the bins. And the bin over at Hordens Road, as you know, has got the woods rotted away, or they've been broken away at some point, and there is the possibility of catching your finger on a screw. Now, I know it's very unlikely that someone's going to get a serious injury, but I would expect an inspector to have at least picked up on that. And that's where my concerns are, where my concerns were with the inspector, if you get what I'm saying. But however, if Chris has alluded to that, if this new chap is going to up the game from the Borough Council, then potentially we ought to consider giving him another 12 months. Stuart?
I was just going to say, to add to what you've said there, Jason, obviously you and I brought this to the attention like a couple of times ago. As such, obviously the Borough Council, we get them through the Borough Council, but it is a wholly owned subsidiary now, this AES, that are dealing with it, these environmental services. And I think, as Phil said, it's a new man that's only done us a couple of times as such. I think we should at least give them chance, with it being technically, as of last year, a new contract, and at least give them like the 12 months and everything to see how they go and see what comes up with this. Because two questions of it is, are we tied into a contract for a period of time? And if we are, well, we've got to go to the end of the contract. So do we do that and see how they've gone? And the other part is with what you've just said about the bins. I know it says play area inspections. Well, I know that's the play equipment and everything. Would the bin actually not be covered by them? Would that be actually back to Phil as our park keeper? I'm not sure what they cover, you see. So that's my question for you.
Thank you, Stuart. Phil?
I mean, the bins are our responsibility. You know, I mean, I agree, Jason. I mean, there is a few bins that won't replace them, and we do them. We get around to them eventually. You know, it's just one of them jobs that are added to the list. I mean, we do replace we have started replacing the old timber actually with marine ply, 3/4 inch marine ply, which is a lot better.
Right. Okay.
It's just one of them jobs that we haven't quite got round to yet. That's all.
Okay. Thanks for your input, Phil. So
I mean, don't get wrong. I mean, anything, when you walk round, I'm quite happy to. If any of you have got any, any issues or that's an example of the bins, Jason. No,
that I was. In fairness, Phil, what I was doing, I was just highlighting my concerns pre-Christmas.
Just get on to me.
So
I'm always available.
So, councillors, can we just go back to Chris's point then? So, are we satisfied that we're in agreement that we're prepared to give the Borough Council a further 12 months as it stands? Yeah, is everybody in favour of that? Yeah, okay, fabulous. In that case, I can then ask Emma the park inspection quotes. If you could park that bus for the time being, Emma.
Yeah.
Take that off your list to do.
Okay.
Which eases your workload slightly, right? Okay, thank you. So we've done those, and we're okay to. Oh, sorry, Chris got your hand up.
I just wondered, looking at those things, the mugger gets mixed up with with other types of play equipment. I just wondered if we could ask them if they could do the mugger separately, because it comes under multi-use play equipment, which can cover a lot. I just wondered if.
It's a good point, Chris, but I've purposely left the mugger alone because at the end of today's meeting, we're going to agree on a date when we can discuss that particular part of the park as a one subject meeting, and I think we'll approach that on that occasion, if that's okay with you.
Okay.
Thank you. Right. So okay. Thank you. Right. No. So number 5 then, Emma. We've got solar light. Now, my mistake here slightly. So I've actually only put solar light, but I should have actually put to consider and agree a recommendations that's been received from Councillor Sizeland, Chris, in the last month. So, Chris, can you just take the floor, please?
Yes, certainly. I got my electrician to check it over, and if I don't know, what is it, 10 years that it's not worked, and all it was the bulb was loose. But he did say there's 2 problems with it. One is the bulb has not got long. The bulb's nearly at the end of its lifespan, and the other thing is the timer, which is supposed to take it off at 10 p.m. It's got a mind of its own. It's gone a bit doolally, so it tends to be on more than it's off. So it was just that the 2 recommendations that we raised for a new bulb, and a new timer. The timer will probably, you're probably looking at something which is a bit like a central heating timer. So, and that in the cabinet, as I understand, but it's just those two things. Hopefully, the body's cost. That just so we don't, so it'll keep working for me.
Yeah, fabulous. Phil.
Yeah.
Am I right in thinking that have we not struggled to get one of these bulbs in the past?
Yeah. Well, you see, I don't really have a great deal of information because obviously before my time. So,
right.
Is there any way, while we're on the subject, is there any way is that we can, like, obviously the box with all the gubbins in is at the top. Is there any way that can actually be brought down to the floor so we can actually, because every time it has to be worked on. I mean, you have to end up getting cherry pickers and scaffolding and all sorts of stuff.
I'm out of my comfort zone with this one. I'm just going to go back to Chris. Chris, have you got any?
Right. I did look at the modern designs, and to be quite honest, if you bought a brand new one today, the old caboose, it might, the battery might last 5% longer, and the windmill might be 5% more efficient. But the only thing that really changed is people don't stick them up on that pole anymore because it's a silly place. They either have them on the ground in a lot of things, or even in grids. But
okay, so
maybe whoever does the bulb, I don't know. You know, it's the people who we bought it off. They lost interest in those because they invented a fridge that works off the sun. Believe it or not, and they don't care the rest of it. They make such a fortune out of these fridges. It's basically for like insulin and stuff like that in Africa, keeping it cool. No, a fridge that runs off the sun, is quite a feat.
Right. Well, I do like the idea of a solar light, but I don't like the idea of being drawn into trying to maintain something that perhaps is obsolete if the market's moved on. So well, I will come back to you, Chris. I've got two people who hands up. Nigel, then Stuart.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Chris, what sort of money are we talking to fix this thing?
You're probably looking at, I don't know, the bulb might be 40 quid. You probably need 100 quid for scaffolding, and the timer might be 50 quid. You're probably looking at somewhere in the region of £200, I'd have thought.
Okay.
But don't hold me to that.
No. So Stuart?
I was just going to say on this one, Jason, it was Julie, the PCSO that we had at the time, and my mother when she was alive on the council that sorted all this out, because it was done for safety for the kids on the skateboard park. Tarmac kindly dug the hole and brought the crane in and put the post there. So I think they still need the post to have the light on as such, and that. And maybe there are newer things, newer models that are in holes in the ground or boxes. But if it's just the bulb and the timer, God almighty, it's been up there probably 15 or more years. I would have thought it's time that possibly that just under normal maintenance money that we actually buy a bulb and a timer and get it sorted. Because if it worked at the beginning, if it was done now, it'll probably work again for however many years, whilst we actually do talk about whatever we're going to do with the skateboard park in the future. You know, if we're upgrading and that would come into it. But the second part of it is, with the solar light being paid for by a charity bike ride that the police did and everything, the PCC Dinsner has already said that for security and safety and stuff like that, he does have some money. I just wondered whether we could actually apply to the police as such for an upgrade. You know, we could actually go towards actually getting a proper upgrade on this light on this post to something that's more suitable for this day and age.
Yeah, cracking point. So Nigel stuck his hand up there. Nigel?
Yeah, I think we're unlikely to get money out of the PCC before the election because we're going to be into Herder, and then hopefully it's not going to be long before we start thinking about putting in a proper lighting circuit, which will probably render this light obsolete.
Okay. So who would like to give me an action on this then? Nigel?
Yeah, I propose that we allocate £250 for Chris to go away and get this fixed.
Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah, I'll second that, because I think it needs fixing, and then we can look into, like Nigel says, a full system once we know what electric we have and everything. But at least it's getting going. And if the bulb lasts 15 years, it's well worth it.
Chris?
I'd personally rather to keep it clean that our normal electrician did it, because now we know what it needs, the thing.
Yeah, the motion is to spend £250. The action is for the town hall to get their electrician involved. Is that what you're saying, Chris? Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah. I think that's is that okay there, please?
Oh.
That's yeah.
Can I just say something, Jason, quickly?
Oh,
I thought it was going to Chris chase it up. I didn't mean Chris mend it.
That's fine. That's cool. Right. Okay. We'll move on then. The tramway trail Information Board. Now, this is to authorise the expenditure as outlined in the emails. Chris, if you could just take the floor again, please.
Yes, there's 4 tramway information boards which were put in many years ago. Now, the one of the 4, the one at Whitehouse had a bit of an argument with a tree. I don't know how many years ago, probably, I don't remember knows when it was, probably at least 8 years ago. So it's just been a mangled rock to heap. And now what I've been working on is to get that fixed. I've tracked down the artwork, and luckily it's virtually only needs slight changes now because there's nothing much changed around there. And I was talking to someone, and they said have a word with Buxworth Canal Basin because they know where to get them from. Because I got silly prices, and it's so dirt cheap, and it looks like that the Whaley Dam grant will pay half of it. It seems, I think, Lindsay is virtually not quite guaranteed, but it's as near as it matters. But even without that, it's a very reasonable. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I'm going in front of me. Is it £500 or something like that in total?
It's 400, including installation.
Yeah. When you think the original one that it will be replacing cost £1,500 in today's money, so it seems very good. And Buxworth Basin had this company make one and install it, and it's lovely. It's just as you go towards the basin off the road. It's
okay. Well, thanks very much. So, councillors, have you anything that you wish to add? No. So the action there is to. Did you say Lindsay was going to put half to it? Do we have to write to Lindsay and get half, or is £400?
She sent an email. I've been dealing with. I think she just basically said send us a bill for half when you've done it. I think that's what it said, didn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so are you okay with that then, Emma?
Yeah. Fine. Yeah. Do you want to, if you've got all the artwork and everything, Chris, have you already passed this on to this company?
I've got the artwork, but there's a slight change. I mean, I'll send you a copy of the artwork, but probably the best thing is to send in the order and then ask them and give them my name, and I'll liaise with them, because I don't work far from there, so I can just nip out on my bike and meet them when they're installing it and stuff like that, So I'm happy to do the nitty-gritty if you can arrange the thing. Basically, all we need is a parish logo put onto the artwork, because the parish weren't involved originally, but this replacement they are.
Right, fabulous.
If everybody's happy, I'll send you some details, Emma.
Yeah, yes, it's fine. And I've just found the email where Lindsay said that just send the invoice for 50. So
right. Fabulous. So everyone on the council satisfied, right? Yeah. Super. Thank you. Number 7, wildflower verges. Nigel.
Yeah. So I guess maybe twice a year I get emails through saying, why don't we have wildflower verges like some other councils do? I understand the arguments about we should prepare the verges, make sure that it's going to succeed, but that'll take some time and is a long-term project. I just thought that just to do something, we could just put 100 quid into buying some seed and allowing councillors to go and scatter it in various places.
Phil?
Yeah.
Can I have some input from you on this, please?
It doesn't work. Simple fact, it doesn't work. You just can't throw it on. It doesn't work.
Right. Okay.
I've tried it myself years ago. It's not as easy as what people think by just throwing it on. The best way to do that is to actually grow them in pots and actually plant them. and then you'll guarantee that they will germinate. You'll have something to put in the ground. I mean, obviously not massive areas. I'm on about if it's just small areas. I'm just suggesting that, for instance, when we used to do wildflower lawns for people's gardens years ago, I mean, we actually used to grow them, you know, sow them in tubs, and then actually physically plant them in the lawns, and then they will spread over time. You know, it's just a different way of doing it. So you've got more guarantee of actually getting something out of the seed.
Yeah, if I can, so I spoke to Derbyshire Wildlife, and as I put into one or two emails with you, Nigel, I'm of the same opinion of Phil and the Derbyshire Wildlife. Derbyshire Wildlife said the soil has to be near on perfect for it to work. I really love the idea, but a middle ground there would be, Phil, is it something that you've got time or to do to be able to put some?
Yeah. I mean, I'll just take you through just one couple of ideas I've got for the park while we're on. Obviously, it's Memorial Park. So one, I was intending doing this last year, but obviously with COVID and having sort of no staff and whatever, it's a bit difficult. Didn't get done. But this year, for instance, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually sow a load of poppy seed in pots. You know, as many as we can do, what we've got room for. And they're going to be planted down the far edge of the park. So hopefully over time it will sort of underneath the trees, and hopefully it will eventually form, you know, a carpet of poppies. So that's just one idea what I'm sort of playing with at the moment. But yeah, I mean, over the years, the experience I've got with wildflowers is you're better off, you know, sowing them in pots and then putting them out as a pot full of plants, which is quite easy. I mean, we can squeeze them into greenhouses. It's not a problem.
Right. Okay. Nigel, you can come back in, please?
Yeah. So I'm happy that Phil's the expert here, and you've consulted Derbyshire Wildlife. I just wanted to know if we were going to spend some money on this, when would Phil think that the best time to come back and talk about this again would be?
It depends on what quantity. You know, what quantity are you thinking of? I think what
the people who email me are talking about is these long country lanes with verges that go on for half a mile with wildflowers all over them. I mean, that's a huge project, isn't it? But yeah, it would be nice to start small.
Yeah, I mean, I think, as we said, I mean, I remember last year we discussed this, and the problem we have is obviously it's highways, isn't it? We don't own any verges on the side of the roads. It's all highways, which makes it very difficult for us as a parish council. You know, we just can't go around just digging grass verges up without their permission. And I mean, I could suggest maybe if we start off, like you said, Nigel, on a small scale, and then try and gradually build it up over a couple of years. I mean, this year, what I can do is I can get all the seed and we'll get it going. You know, we'll get it germinated, we'll get them growing, and we'll see if we can sort of try and do as many as we can. And then maybe we could always see what we've got. Normally, you're probably looking at, if we start sowing now, probably looking at end of May. We'll probably have something worth looking at in pots. And even we could always, maybe an idea of, you know, we could, if people are interested, maybe, you know, take a pot themselves, you know, and put them in an area, you know, wherever it's suitable. It's just an idea, you know. It's fabulous. Worth thinking about.
Good call. Stuart?
Yeah, thank you, Jason, on this one. I'm not in favour of just spending £100 to buy some seeds and anybody just go and throw them anywhere. I don't think that's the remit for the council just to do it like that, because I like the idea of having some more colourful spaces and everything. It's nice to think that it does look well and all the rest of it. But because we've got our planters to put out and other things to do, I think it's something we need to plan better, because people have come to the Borough Council who've got grass verges outside their houses, and they actually have to have a cultivation license to be able to even put bulbs in or grow anything on them. And some people have done that up Horse Fair and different places. And yeah, the daffodils do come through, or they have some, snowdrops coming through, which does look nice. But I'm not sure where we'd stand with, like you've just said, with highways. There's all this, they talk about they should let it grow, and then people come along and mow it and it doesn't reseed itself, and this, that, and the other. And then you get people complaining that they can't see, i.e. round the roundabout, over the roundabout, or at junctions and that, because people tend to they seed in the wrong place. I'd sooner that we went down the lines with what Phil said there about actually growing it in some pots and having a look properly where we could put it, because if we're looking at putting other things out as such, in with signposts or anything, or these other planters around, like we've mentioned earlier, I think we should be looking where we actually do it, where they would actually grow, where it's worthwhile. Because otherwise, I just feel, we're wasting money.
Thank you, Stella.
Two things. One, have we still got the wildflowers in the park? We had supposed to have a wild part in the park, aren't we? And last year it didn't really look wild, but I don't know.
No, say before my time, really.
Yeah, I know that.
I think Stuart could probably give you a bit more information over the
and area. Also, going back to what Stuart said, in a way, is could we just come up with an area where we think wildflowers would look nice at the beginning and find a spot? Like I think, at the bottom of Bowden Lane going up to Bowden Hall, that corner. Right. I think that would look lovely, and it would stop vans turning up there and parking on it, and it'd look nice with wildflowers on there. But just find a little space that we could aim to work on, and then see how it went from there. So it's kind of saying what Nigel and Stuart say, but find a spot.
Okay, so I think everybody taking everything on board. We are a council that is committed to trying to get wildflowers in and around the parish where possible. Obviously, it's a little bit more complex than we'd like, but the action here, Phil, is if you could begin to grow a few on our behalf, and we'll revisit this once we've got something that we can potentially plant elsewhere. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
Is everyone on the council okay with that? Yeah, Emma, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just writing it down. Yeah,
smashing. So that's the action on that one then.
Yeah, can I just say one more thing, Jay, before we go?
Yeah.
Can we look at, between us, finding an area where we think it would be suitable, and then find out if we need permission off highways?
Yeah. Yeah, no problem. You have a scout around still. See what you think.
Yeah, because actually, that'll be my action plan to look at that before the next meeting.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
And
with Nigel.
Yeah, and keep close contact with Emma as well, and Phil.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So Emma, 8 and 9, public rights of way, minor maintenance claims.
Yeah. Chris has. We applied last year for some stone and bits and pieces. So Chris might be able to tell you where he's up to this. All it is we need the invoice, basically. It was last year's money. So,
yeah. Chris?
Okay. Basically, what we've been doing was that we used to give it the footpath maintenance grant back to DCC, or we never took it up. And one year it got spent on flood relief, and that's not footpaths to me. That was where the DCC was spending anyway. So the whole idea of actually claiming it, and it's £675 a year. Now, basically, we've got a scheme to help the Canal Trust towards the stoning up of the footpath around Coombs Reservoir, which is an absolute quagmire. But with COVID and that, all these things are getting put back. And the problem is that getting some work done and, an invoiced and that before, I think it's March the 31st. I've emailed the footpath officer to explain the situation. I copied Emma in, and I've also asked Emma if she'll tell whoever asked her the question. But I think it's ETC Prow, which is the footpath department. But you're best emailing them both, because they don't talk to each other quite often. So it could be that we pay for it won't actually be chippings. The Canal Trust always use crushed Welsh slate. It looks very nice. So we'll pay for, say, 2 loads of the Welsh slate on site by the deadline. But then, while it's still quagmire, they're going to have to wait till till it dries out a bit before they can spread it. So anyway, it's really with the footpath department, DCC now, But I hope they realise that these things aren't easy, especially at the moment, and especially this is a major project. They're talking about putting picnic tables and everything there, and there is. I'll send you around the plan they did for Sutton Reservoir near Mac, which is one of the sister to Coombs and Whaley, the sister reservoir to Coombs and Whaley,
right?
Which you might all find interesting.
Thank you, Nigel. You've got your hand up.
Yeah. Is the problem that we just can't get invoiced in time? I mean, in which case, why don't we just go to the Stone Place at Water Swallows and ask them to invoice us before delivery?
They DCC say they want evidence of work done. We've got to do a work completion statement now as well. So that's why I've emailed them. I've explained the situation. This is a fantastic project, but there's lots of people. Based on the whole idea is our £675 will probably kickstart a total spend on that footpath of £4,000 or £5,000. And and it's such a lovely walk. That's when your feet aren't going 4 inches into the ground as you walk. Mm-hmm. So hopefully, if Emma could also email her contact, it'd be appreciated, Emma, because the more emails you send, the better.
So the action here is to try and secure the funding still,
yes.
even though it's highly likely we might fall. The work might not start until after the due date.
Yeah, especially if it's such a wet winter as well. We've got COVID, and obviously people like the Canal Trust and the people they liaise with, because they have to actually, some CMEX, I believe, does a lot, helps them out a lot, but they can't just say to CMEX, will you do this tomorrow? They say, all right, yeah, well, we will, but it'll be a month's time or something like that. It's, what I mean? It's...
okay.
But,
I will in a minute, Stuart. So on this one, Emma, then the action would be, could you put a letter together to the relevant parties explaining the situation and ask how we actually move forward?
Yeah.
Thank you, Emma. Stuart?
I was just going to say in with this one, because of how it's progressing, as you might say. I know that the Borough Councillor who covers Doveholes got some chippings from CMEX, and they were put down at Doveholes Station along the edge of the platform and everything. I think they had 2 or 3 ton, and they had a working party to put it down to tidy it up, which came under this minor maintenance stuff for that, and that was done through their station, like we have our friends at the station. But what I was going to say is, with what everything's been said, because of this year being wet and because of COVID and everything, I wonder whether or not, because what we have just been informed that anybody who hasn't spent their council initiative fund money this year as such, they can roll it on to next year. the borough council and the county council are looking at rolling what hasn't been spent this year into next year's budget because they realise it's been an awkward year. Is it worth with what you've said? If Emma's going to write, like actually saying, can we roll this money into next year so we aren't so full on the timescale? And what Chris has said, the 695 would obviously become 1,400 quid for next year, and really would make a difference if it could all go down in one fell swoop. That's just a suggestion to ask.
Yeah, thank you, Stuart. Yeah, that's in fairness, that's really what I was getting at when I asked Emma to get in touch with the respective parties. Let's find out what's available, what can be done, what needs to be done, and then if Emma can communicate with Chris, and then we'll take an update at the next meeting. Emma, are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Fabulous, thank you. HPBC Public Spaces Protection Order, Emma.
Yeah. Literally, I was obviously doing a new order, an updated one. Yeah. I've had a quick read through it. I don't know what you lot think, but I don't think it overly applies to us. I don't think we need.
It wasn't something that I thought affected Chapel in particular. Councillors, anybody say? Anybody got anything relevant? No.
All I was just going to say, Jason, I did mention this at the full council meeting. It has gone through the borough council. It has been taken up. It's a protection order. It's more for the moorland and the outlying areas. And all I was going to say was, if by any chance we suddenly found, because their public spaces protection order was causing problems and it brought people inwards and maybe into the parks, whatever, we might have to revisit this further down the line, is what I was going to say.
But nothing really to do with us at this moment in time.
No.
Okay. Thank you, councillors. Thank you, and we'll move on then. Number 10, drainage. Now, I've asked Emma to slip this one onto the agenda this time. Phil and Stuart joined forces and organised a survey of the drains in the Memorial Park. You know, it's been a bone of contention of mine that I think the park is very, very wet. So I've asked for this. I would like some feedback from those that have looked at the drains. I've got some of my own ideas. I'd like Phil's input on this as well, please. So I'll open the floor to Phil first, and then Chris will be second. Phil, can I have some of your thoughts, please, mate?
I think the thing is with the drains is, if something's actually going to be done, then I think we need to do it properly. I think we don't. It doesn't. The problem with we're doing a half-hearted job of putting, let's put a pipe in here, let's put a pipe in there, is that it just doesn't work.
No.
You know what I mean? I mean, if you want the drains to be done, then we need to do the whole lot properly. That's all. That's all my beef is really. There's no point in doing, sections of it. I mean, we've got a football pitch there is not really no use for anything, really, to be fair. I mean, if we are going to do something with drains, I mean, maybe at the same time try to allocate some money to do a bit more with the football pitch and do the whole lot.
Yeah, that's a good call. Yeah. So I'll start with Chris, Nigel, and then Stuart. So have you got your hand up at all?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, right. Okay, so in that order, please, gentlemen.
Okay, thank you, Jason. There seems to be some corruption on the videos down the pipes. Is the first problem. So we just don't. And also, it seems to be on the plan. It shows pipes at places, but then there's not a video for that. But then there's a video for a pipe that's not shown on the plan. Together with the fact there's a lot of corruption on the videos. So a 3-minute video, you might only get 40 seconds before it's crashed. So my feeling is that we need to get them back to do it, or to have a look at their software to see if they can get the correct thing. We just need more information, basically, I think.
Thank you. Nigel?
Yeah, I mean, the reason why we had a drain survey is because there's a clear problem with drainage. I think it's obvious to anyone who walks across the pitch that it's extremely wet. I agree with Phil that what we need to do is look at that area of the pitch in totality and say, let's drain it properly and level the pitch so that we're not putting money into something that people won't see. I think we need to think at the end of it what additional play facilities we have in place for the town's youth.
Thank you, Nigel. Stuart?
Right, well, I'll obviously go back on the history one on this one, because it goes back in time. Obviously, that's why we had the drain survey, to find out what we had actually got, and it has proved that we ain't got a lot, because people were saying that people had dug up under the football pitch in the past and put drains in. Well, it seems like if we do dig that up and have a look what we've got there, probably all it was great big pipes that they'd laid there with drilled holes in them and hoping that it would soak away. They are not actually connected. There's nothing there that's connected up to anything. So this does prove our case that we haven't got proper drains that aren't connected up. You know, it's not a case of, oh, yes, there's a drain there, but it's blocked, or, oh, there's a drain there that's collapsed, or anything like that. So it has proved the point. And I think what I'd be saying is, with what Phil said and with what Nigel said there, if we're going to do something and we're going to try and level that football pitch or do whatever we're going to do, this is the right time to dig up and put some drainage in under the surface and actually drain it away properly, because we know we've got a bit of a drain at the top that don't go anywhere. We've got a big soak away that floods on the right-hand side, left-hand side, whichever way you like to look at it. There should be drains that run along behind the multi-use games area and join into that to drain that out because of the slope. And then obviously there are other drains that should be, should be about. So, because there is a bit by the trees and the footpath that doesn't really go anywhere. So I think we need to work a plan of action out of how far we want to go with what Phil said and what Nigel said. Like, do we start in one area and try and put some proper drainage in and connect it properly so that it can go somewhere, and then we can actually do something and do it piece by piece in the areas that we're going to improve.
Okay, thank you, Stuart. Okay, right. So I have got my own thoughts on it, and I am firmly in the on the side of how Phil has suggested that if we're going to do it, we need to do it properly. I am conscious of what Chris has said, though, is that we've actually paid a company for a survey, and he has grave concerns over the quality of that survey or the information that we've got. So the question to Chris would be is how do you see us progress in this matter? And, obviously, that I'm really keen to make sure that every area in the park is available to everybody.
Okay. I've had a word with someone at DCC, Jason, and he says the company that did it, they do sometimes will have problems, but they'll always come back and redo it, and they won't charge it. You know what I mean? If there's a problem, they will sort it out. Is my contact told me. So I think we just need to point out to the company the things and take it from there. But from what I hear, DCC have used this company, and they said if there is any problems, they always sort it out. So it doesn't look like there'd be any extra, for sorting out the.
I understand that. Thank you, Chris. So we have got an action there. What I would just say is that whilst we may not have received all the information that we wanted in the first hit, and that they're coming back, it's quite clear from the information that we have received is that the drainage system in the park is actually a fractured drainage system, and really it's systematic of a field that is over 100 years old. When it was given to the parish, it would have been a field, and as such, it's never really had a drainage survey. Phil, once we have this company back and they highlight the issues, is this a project that you would like to undertake yourself, or do you think that you would like to see a contractor do it?
I think, to be fair, it is quite a big area, and I don't think we just haven't got the staff, basically.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
You know.
No, but,
I mean, I think it might be an idea to actually get a proper, maybe I don't actually know what you call them, you know, proper surveyor come contracts, if you know what I mean, and actually give us an idea of what is possible. You know, give us a proper idea of, you know, the best places to put them and how deep they're supposed to be, and, you know, a proper survey, really.
Okay. So the action plan there, Emma, would be to contact the survey supplier. Sorry, Chris, before I carry on, Emma. Chris?
Oh, it just occurred to me that the survey company did mention some locked or bolted down grids. I mean, obviously, if they did come back, it would be very useful if those were unlocked, if we knew whose locks they are.
I think Stuart will probably give you quite a lot of information about that, because he's been around when that was all done. It was actually the water board who actually put that in place and what have you. I mean, Stuart knows a lot more about it than me. But they are locked. They're actually quite big chamber. It's quite a big chamber. It's quite a big pipe under there, and it actually runs all the way down to the river.
Right. Okay. So the action I'm getting, Phil, from this is that we need to contact the surveyor supplier, ask them to come back and work with you to see if we can improve the quality of what we've received.
The actual quality itself of the videos.
I think that's what Chris is getting at. Some of the files were corrupted.
That's what we're asking for, yeah. Clearer images.
Chris?
You might have a 3-minute video, and they actually give you a timeline of what it is, but it might just freeze after 30 seconds. Or another one, it might go on for 1 minute.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's no problem. I'll ring them up next week.
The other thing is the opposite. They've got a video saying it's next to the mugger, but they're not showing any pipes next to the mugger. They say they've gone down a thing next to the mugger, but it's not. They're not showing that any place on the map like that. It's contradictory.
Yeah. So the action. I think what I'm picking from that up, Phil, is that perhaps when if we invite them back, you can probably take the lead on that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
And then get them to give us the survey you want us to have, rather than what they want to give us, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, obviously, it's more explanation, isn't it? What's there? Yeah. Because no problem.
In fairness, because I think this is the preliminary stage, isn't it? Because I think what we're going to have to do as a council is commit to actually installing proper drains. Stuart, I see you've got your hands up, Ken.
Yeah, it was just a bit more of an update, because obviously I did meet with them on site and everything at the time. And I must admit, I saw that, Chris, and I was going to query that in the respect of they haven't shown the drain hole by the corner of the multi-use games area. But when they did try to go down that, there are 2 pipes in that manhole, but they couldn't get down and they're blocked. So they just said, well, they'll write it on the report that there's a grid hole there, but it doesn't go anywhere. It's something that would need investigating. We spoke about that at the time. So I was going to bring that one up as such. But obviously with DCC, they advised us to use county drains as such, because they use them on a regular basis all through the borough and the county, because they know where all the drainage systems are and where they go and what they're linking to. And the gentleman did say that if we do decide that we wanted them back to sort anything out, yes, you're right, they would do. They'd come and have a look. But the other one is also they would be prepared to give us a price and everything with a proper survey of how you drain that field and all the rest of it. And they are a company that you could actually get them in, and they'll come and they'll dig it and do it for what, I know we'd have to go down probably the route of getting 3 prices, but as county has found out, they usually come out the best value for money. So I think Chris has partially got it right. We get them back and we see where we can go.
Thank you, Stuart. Nigel, you had your hand up. You've taken it down. You could, right? Okay, right. Okay. So, Emma, if we could initiate the contact with the supplier, and then if you could liaise with Phil and take it from there, please.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you very much, Emma. Phil. Number 11, Marketplace Information Board and the Memorial Park Notice Board. So I'm going to open the floor up here to Stella, please.
Yeah, right. Well, we had the new boards put in, the new map of Chapel and with all the walking map info and everything. But they put the old one on the other side, which is the one people see, which is saying, pointing the wrong way because it's obviously turned round. So we need that taken away and a mirror image putting on the other side. So basically we've got two maps, the old one and the new one. And the old one is saying Coombs is where Thomas Beckett is, and Thomas Beckett is where Coombs is. So Sue has been in touch with Lindsay about it. And also we're after moving it because it does block stocks. And also we want it moving nearer stocks to stop people parking on that pavement. People are just parking right on the pavement, right next to stocks. So if we move it nearer stocks, then people can't park on there. Okay. And it means that that bench is clear and the cafe next door could probably get more tables out in the summer.
Fabulous. Thank you, Stella. Nigel?
Yeah, so Sue grabbed me when I was walking down the road, and Phil was there with it, and at the time when we looked at it, there was a car parked on the flags, and I think it would be a good idea to do what Stella's asked, to move it and to use it as effectively a bollard, and it's also just a better position for it. So yeah, I completely agree with Stella.
Thank you, Stella. This is going to be a little cheeky now, but you'll notice that I've actually added so where am I now? The information board on the marketplace, but I also snuck in the Memorial Park board.
Yeah.
And we have £750 in the budget that we haven't spent this year. That put to one side for notice boards, and the one in the Memorial Park is dated, very dated. And I was going to ask if you would mind championing trying to do something similar with the Memorial Park board, like you have done with your board on the marketplace. Now, a little cheeky that I've dropped it on you in that respect, but is it something that you might consider?
Yeah, because I've worked with Lindsay, so she's got the contact of the people who did it, the thing, so I can get prices for that. And also there might be some money left out of the regeneration. What we'd have to do is decide what we want on it.
Right, okay.
I mean, on the one on the marketplace, we've got the scan thing for the map, all them maps with Ruth did. Yeah. If you scan that, all the maps come up. So you don't have to actually have the physical map. So something like that we could have on just as a scan, but we need to decide what we want on it. So yeah, leave that with me. And
I'd love to see your ideas, Stella.
And we'll get info off everybody. Right.
And the other thing, Stella, as well, is I'd like to see more than one notice board in the park. But I'll let you run with it and see what you come back with.
Thank you.
Stuart?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I fully support Stella's idea of moving the one on the marketplace to the other position, but it beggars belief that they can put a map in one side and put the old one in the other side that's actually the old one and pointing in the wrong direction. What brain cell decided to do that? I just can't understand that one at all. So I'm fully supportive of getting a mirror image to put in the other side, especially when we move it and make it worthwhile. I do fully support that and agree that. The one I was going to say was with your putting on the Memorial Park notice board. Yeah, it probably does need updating. But the thing is, technically we have two main entrances, because we use the one off Roughton Grange with the archway as the main entrance.
Yeah.
But technically, the one off Bowling Green Lane, where the vehicles used to come in for the carnival and years ago, that was the only actual entrance and exit in and out of the park. And it probably would be nice to have a board up there as well, because the boards, what I'm just going to say for Stella's point of view, the boards that have been in the park do actually tell you where the different bits of the park are, like the Wildflower Garden, like the old Target Wall, and different bits, as well as other information. So it's something for you to work on. That was all I wanted to say. And if you want some input with it, I willingly, but I'd possibly like to see some, maybe the other main entrances or the other entrances as such, It's like you go on holiday and it says you are here.
Yeah, no,
leave it with me.
It's a great point. Sorry, Phil.
Sorry, can I just jump in on the notice board? The one that we've actually got in the Memorial Park is actually coming to the end of its life.
Yeah.
The legs are quite rotten at the bottom. Oh. So while we're actually going through the process of renew the information, is it possible to also go through the process of getting a new one?
Well, I wouldn't be against that. Stuart, the rules on that would be?
Well, no, I wouldn't have a problem with that. All I was going to say is, we, as Phil knows, he's put one up at Doveholes, a notice board, and we do have somebody that has made all the others. So if we were wanting them all to match or whatever, it would just be a case of Emma once again getting prices and what size they were and how many we wanted or whatever, to be able to come to us and say how much it would cost.
Right, I'll work with Emma and Phil and see if he wants it exactly in the same place, and then get info off everybody what we think we need on it. And
that's fabulous.
I'll also get it off the public as well, what they think, because I think
Thank you, Stella.
Can I just check and go back to the marketplace board?
Yeah.
So you've all agreed to kind of move it?
I think that's yeah.
Who's moving it?
I think Phil, did you met with Sue, didn't you? But we said we'd have to.
I just want to say, do you want us to move it?
I think
to move it.
Yeah, I think Sue. Yeah, Sue was under the impression when I met with Lindsay that we would work out and move it. And I know you said about the flags having holes in, but we might be able to cut the old flag up where it's going and put them, didn't we?
Yeah, that's fine. So I just want to confirm it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
But I'll work with you and Emma and everything on the others as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Fabulous. Okay. Thank you, Emma. Right. So the next one will be is the damaged railings. Now we've this is a quick one. Doesn't really need a great deal of discussing. Phil reported to the town hall that we've had some joyriders created quite a bit of damage up on the Hordens Lane. I believe it's called, isn't it, Phil?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hordens Lane. And my first thoughts when I saw the damage was that it was going to be £500 a metre to repair it, but that's the heritage railings. However, Phil's done a little bit of work. You've got a price, haven't you, Phil?
Yeah, it's actually coming out at about
£550.
£550.
Well, before that, it was sort of £460.
Yeah, that's all everything we need, and obviously we'll rip the old ones out and put the new ones in.
Okay, so we've got Chris's hand up.
Two things. Is it covered by the insurance? And B, did they get someone and will we get compensation?
No, we've been round and we've knocked on all the doors and nobody seems to know, have a clue who's done it. I know. I think
the police have emailed back and said basically, obviously because it was reported, but because there doesn't appear to be any lines of inquiry, they're not sending any officers out. And that's that.
The excess on our insurance actually is, I'm not quite sure what it is, but Sue said
it's more than
it's a lot more than £550. So.
Okay.
So the action here would be to agree to pass this to the full council for expenditure, Stuart, or can we? Yeah. So
Yeah, well, the minutes from today will say what we've decided. As it's only the same 5 of us.
Yeah.
And really and truthfully, it's accident damage, which, like you say, if it was over a couple of grand, it'd be an insurance job. As we can't do anything with the police, it's a case of I think it's comes under the it's just under the park budget. Get on and get it done as such as repairs and maintenance. And we will ratify these minutes at the full council, and it's the same 5 of us. I don't see that there's a problem that because of what it is, it has to be done. Get on and do it.
Magic. Thank you. Stuart, Nigel, sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same, but from a different angle, really. That the financial regulations say that committees can spend up to £500. So if you want to spend it and you've got it budgeted, spend it.
Yeah, I was aware of that, Nigel, but it was the 550 that threw me. I don't want to get myself into a whole heap of trouble for 50 quid. So,
well, you get your VAT back, so don't worry.
All right.
That's where Emma said it's 460.
So as a council, we just, Phil cracks on with it, and then we'll ratify it at the Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Cheers, Emma. Right, next one, Emma, is right, the first motion, 13, motion from Councillor Gawley. The council will provide more grip bins for the parish. Take the floor, please, Nigel.
Yeah, so I had an attempt at sketching out where we should. So obviously we have budgeted to install some grip bins. And it's clear that we need a fair system for choosing where those grip bins would go. And so I've sketched out 4 points, which are that they should only go on adopted highways. Steep roads will be preferred, that serve a number of residents. And if there are aged or disabled residents, they would be preferred over other sites. So I'm quite willing to take any amendments that the council agrees.
Stuart.
Yeah, I've just one I had thought about, Nigel. I suppose it's an expanding on or adding to. It's a case of where other grip bins are situated, because you wouldn't suddenly want to put one very close to where there already is one or something like that. It's actually just where it's situated. Because I know some roads, you might, because the length of the road can make such a difference. If it's a long road, you might want one at either end. If it's only a short road or something, you might want one in the middle. If it's a cul-de-sac, do you actually put it in the cul-de-sac? I just was wondering if we need to put something about with the positioning of how many there is. You know what I mean? Because you don't want a great ruck of them all in the same place. So
number 5 we could have as the current distribution of grip bins will be considered.
Yes, something like that, because it just seemed daft if you sort of were putting one either side of a road junction or something. It was just how we would work out where they go. That was just my thoughts.
That seems very sensible. Any other changes that anyone would like to make?
No, I think it's a good idea. I know DCC do provide them and are supposed to provide them, but at the moment they haven't got the money, and there is people in the parish that need them. So I think we've got to step in.
Okay, great. Okay. So can I just ask whether everyone's in favour of that, with the addition of point 5, which is the distribution of current grip bins will be considered?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in favour for that. Yeah, we're all in favour for that. So given that we've agreed that now, Nigel, and we've a £2,000 budget from April onwards, I guess the action will be that we would need to start making the decision soonest.
Yeah, can I suggest that we get a comprehensive list of all the grip bin requests that have already come in? I know it's quite a lengthy list, and I think with these 5 considerations, we can cross them off straight away, and then we can start visiting the sites that remain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you?
I've just done it.
Sorry.
Go on. No, I was just going to say, I've done a bit of a list, which I've emailed out to you. Is there anything else specifically you need on that list or want on it?
Well, if you put them, if you put them 5 points on it, so if you email us the list and put the 5 points on it, and then we can, while we're going around, we can tick the points or whatever.
No, sorry, Stuart.
Yeah, I have been contacted by 2 or 3 different people where they live when they'd heard about this list, and I says, well, I'll put it forward. You don't need to send it in yourself. So it's one I'd like to put forward on behalf of some of the residents, and it's where we've got the post box at the top of Spencer Road, which obviously is the top of Crossings Road, which is up above where Emma lives. It's right at the top of 2 hills, and then there's a slope down that goes then up to St Anne's Close. And because we've got the post box there, and we did say we'd probably have a look at putting a litter bin there, because that's where all the dog walkers go through and that, it's a case of that would, because we've got other things there, they've asked whether or not, because of there's older people, there's quite a big estate there, the hillsides, whether or not that's a place we could actually look at putting one at the top of Spencer Road where all that is. And I think it's quite a sensible one to possibly put forward for consideration as such. But what I was going to say, because we passed the one at the parish council for the wash, the lady did receive a pile of grit to keep her going at the moment before we get round to getting the bin fitted there. Because it's an out of the way place, and we will be looking at fitting bins, the one that's on Emma's list, which is Lesser Lane in Coombs, I was wondering if we could, with that being out of the way and down where that is, a little bit like those, could we expedite that one sort of out of the whole list and have a look at that one and maybe get something sanctioned on that, was what I was going to ask. Please, Jason.
Thank you, Stuart. Chris?
I added one as well. I had a cycle round, and it struck me that Beresford Avenue has got a lot of people. The number of houses up there is gigantic. You don't believe, and it's very, very steep, and there isn't one there already. So I added that to the list as well.
Right, there is one at the top of Beresford Avenue, but do you want me also to, on this list, do you want me to put which ones are actually already ours and owned by us, and then owned by High Peak, and then DCC? So you can kind of see where they all are, but who's supposed to fill them up as well.
And it's not showing. I looked it up on the DCC portal. It's not showing, but the DCC portal shows stuff all over the place.
And that's ours. We fill the one up on Beresford Avenue.
Yeah, that's ours.
Oh right, I didn't know. I use the DCC portal. Apologies.
Okay, so from that, we've obviously had the motion from Councillor Gawley, Nigel, that's passed. We want a list, a comprehensive list then of those that have been added, and we do want people to write in. However, we have now got the 5 points that we've agreed on. What I would also like to add is that if somebody that writes in and requests the bin, that we write back to them and immediately and explain to them that the current policy is X, and let's not leave them in hanging. So
yeah, do you want me to email them all back and say that this is what's been decided?
Yes, please, Emma.
But no decisions have been made yet.
No decisions have been made yet. Yeah. We have got a budget, but to keep everybody in the loop, and to be fair, what I would rather do as well is I'd like individuals to email Emma directly, so that Emma is constantly aware of any changes to the list. So let's try and keep it all in one place. So, okay, are you okay with that then, Emma?
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Can I just say, Jason, can we thank Emma for doing this list? And I like the idea of what she said about adding to the list on the end to say that, whether there's something nearby or whose it is, what she just offered. I think that's a great idea.
Absolutely, Stuart. So I've got Stella with her hand up, sorry.
Yeah, can I just say, can we, now we've made the decision and that, can we just say, by a certain date we'll have made the decisions and that, rather than it keep carrying on and carrying on? if we're going to go through the list and say by the next meeting we should be able to make a decision on where they're going.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've a month to come. You know,
Yeah.
Rome wasn't built in a day, Stella, but we've obviously made provision. Nigel's proposed a motion. We've got one. We'll move forward from here on.
Yeah, it's
Chris,
only so people that are listening know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chris?
Okay. This is slightly different. We've had very icy pavements in the last few weeks. They were treacherous. Now, I looked in there's 2 grit bins on the marketplace. I looked in one of them and it was full. I know there's something about snow wardens and that, but it just needed spreading, if you know what I mean. I just wondered if there was some sort of system on whether obviously the cold weather. I don't know what Phil feels like, if he could sort of, what the possibilities of just the main road in the marketplace. I would say, just down to say Foster's, back up the other side, and then do around the marketplace. It's treacherous.
Okay.
It was treacherous, you probably know, and the grit was there in a bit. One of the bins hasn't been filled up, so I requested it full, but the other one was just full. It must have been like that all over Christmas.
Right, thank you, Chris. Right, so Stella, got your hand up then, Nigel, please.
Right, can I just say, Chris, they did come twice or 3 times. I saw them. They come in a wagon, and they have it in a wagon, and they did the marketplace, and they did get some out the grit bins. Because I do my path and round the back of me. But yeah, they did grit it 2 or 3 times, because I was going to go out and do a bit, but they were there.
It did it, Stella?
Someone in a yellow high-vis jacket.
Okay.
You know me, I can see everything out my window. Can see parts and double yellows and everything.
Thank you, Stella. Nigel?
Yeah, I know that we've got Paddy looking on this meeting at the moment, and he is one of the snow wardens for the town. It might be worthwhile just asking him if he's available and listening. What areas of the town are covered currently by snow wardens?
Okay.
He's probably gone for a cup of tea.
Quite possibly.
I'm sure.
I heard you, Nigel. Yeah, that's not a problem. Anyone wants to get in touch with me, I can update you and tell you what's what on that part. I have no problem with it at all.
Thank you, Paddy.
Okay, no problem. You're welcome.
So that's an interesting point that Nigel makes there. I think what we have to do is that we've agreed that we have this policy in place now, but we have to make sure that Phil's capable. We don't try and overload Phil with these grit bins. We're going to put these grit bins down, and we're going to ask people to sort of look after themselves to some extent. So we've now got the motion. We will go away and we'll take it from here. But it's important to get all parties singing from the same hymn sheet. So we'll speak to Paddy, the snow warden, we'll speak to Phil and the town hall, yeah? So in a month's time, we'll be in a better place. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
You okay with that, Emma?
Yeah.
Or Emma.
I know, yeah. I'm just loading her up. That's why I've been trying to give a bit away. So 14, motion from Councillor Gawley, the signs in the Memorial Park. Take the floor, please, Nigel.
This is me as well.
Yeah. So we've got these signs, keep your dog on a lead, which the dog walkers don't follow anyway. And it's not clear whether that's the actual rule anyway, because we've also got these borough council regulations covering the Memorial Park, which are different than the Memorial Park bylaws. So in the borough council rules, which are newer than the Memorial Park bylaws, they essentially say that dogs should be kept under control, and if an enforcement officer or a policeman asks you to put your dog on a lead, then you must do it. Whereas the bylaws say that dogs should be on leads all the time. The reason why I think we should switch the signs is that from time to time it appears on Facebook that dog walkers aren't following the rules, and people get cross about it, and there's much debate. And I think we could solve that by just saying keep your dog under control. I mean, obviously keep the no dogs sign on the children's playground, but I think we should swap the signs in the other places.
Yeah. Okay. Stella, you'd like to add some?
Yeah, I was just going to say that's one of the things I was thinking of to make sure was on the notice board, a bit of a warning about if you've got dogs and things like that. That's in my head about going on the notice board. But yeah, I think if we just have under control, it'll stop a lot of hassle and this rubbish on Facebook.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, thank you both. Anybody else got anything they'd like to add? Phil?
Yeah.
It's a bit of an awkward one for you, really, isn't it? This particular ruling.
It is, because I'm not actually quite sure what the legalities are, but I've been told that we don't actually have any authority at all to enforce putting dogs on leads.
Okay.
So I think Nigel's idea is actually quite a good one, actually, because then it sort of solves all the argument of you know, I mean, to be fair, you can't actually police it anyway, and we're not authorised to anyway, so it makes a lot of sense to change the sign.
Yeah, well, I support Nigel's motion for a number of points. One of them in particular is it takes the pressure off any council workers in the park having to try to enforce something and putting themselves at the risk of unpleasantness. So Stuart?
I was just going to say, when I was chair of Community Select at the borough, this is when the new rules came in and we went hard and fast through everything, trying to work it out. And yes, it does supersede the bylaws. I know in the past people said they should be on the lead all the time. Some people don't even want dogs in the park at all, but that's not possible. Some people said, should there be a special area for dogs? But it was agreed at the time that it would only be the dog wardens and the police. And if the dog warden comes out, he's got to have his high-vis jacket on and he's got to have his dog warden sign with him and everything. So they all abide by it anyway and disappear. So they haven't been able to do a lot. The couple of dog wardens we've got that are in the borough and in the Staffordshire Moorlands, we did ask at the time whether park keepers and other council workers could be able to do something, but under the law you can't. So I think we're probably as well going down this road, and then with Stella with her stuff, if she actually has a look at what the dog control orders are that the borough council's got, you know, when you're looking for what you put on the notice board, if we're in line with that, which is what Nigel's saying with this, please keep your dog under control, and we do the same as that. If we did have anything that was really bad, we could ask for the dog warden to come down and sort of work with the park keeper to be there to actually, with Phil, to be able to do something if we've got one person that's really badly in contravening the rules.
Okay, so the action I've taken from all that then, Emma, is that perhaps we ought to get quotes for the changing of the signs on all of the gates.
Okay.
That's what is that what you're proposing, Nigel?
Yeah, and I'll second it if you need.
Everyone in favour? Yeah.
Yeah.
Smashing. Thank you. Right. Okay. So count number 15. Motion from moi. Okay. So in recent times, I've been looking at the old lottery bids for the Memorial Park and some of the things that they were trying to achieve. One of them that stuck in my mind was that they were looking to improve the Bowling Green Lane entrance, and we have a pot of money that was bequested to the parish for improvements in and around the park, and I wanted to put it to the council that we use that to improve Bowling Green Lane, and then also if we could get quotes for Derbyshire Stone for Phil to replace the yellow brick around the original planters, thus tying everything into how things are developing at this moment in time. Anybody got any thoughts on that?
No, I'm quite happy with that.
Okay, Stuart, Chris, Stuart, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say, I was just going to say a couple of things to possibly Phil will probably want to come back on it, but with that, as I said earlier, that Bowling Green Lane is technically our main entrance, and it should be able to be used to get the tractors in and out of, rather than going under the arch when cars are parked there and whatever, because it does let you out onto the main road. What I'd like to see is, along the lines of what you said with the Derbyshire stone, or whatever, it would be nice to actually, because we know we had trouble with the lady locking that gate up because they've gone rotten and all the rest of it. We've obviously found somewhere that we can get railings that we've just spoken about to replace that have been damaged. It would be nice to have 2 proper stone gate posts there with some new gates and a new, or 3 gate posts with 2 gates that's a normal roadway gate and a single gate that can be actually shut and locked properly, because we did have to buy a bike chain and that to do that. While we're doing it, it would be nice to make a proper job of that area, is what I'm going to say. I fully support your motion that we should look into pricing and doing all that. And the second part about the planters, because of the way they've been built and that, I think it would be probably possible to actually just face what we've got there. You wouldn't need to take them down. Just I know they're already sort of like double skinned, but you just do it treble skinned or whatever. You just do another fascia all around it, which probably would make it easier for the randomness of the stone to be able to be done. So I know you're asking Phil to do it, but just a couple of thoughts while we're getting stone to do stuff about that.
Okay,
I don't know how you feel.
Thank you, Stuart. Chris?
You're talking about the bit that goes from our gates on Bowling Green Lane to the main road, I assume. It's just, we just have to look into the ownership situation.
No, sorry, Chris. What I really mean is we've had a bench put there, and currently the gates, they're in a state of disrepair. And I'm looking at improving the entrance, not the actual surface. I want the entrance improving so that people can get in and out of the park comfortably. They've already started to use the bench. We have a flower bed there. We've seen what Phil's done near the Bowling Green. I'd love to see a Derbyshire stone one there, full of Phil's plants and things. I just think it would just really enhance the park.
No, fine. Me get confused.
Yeah.
So okay, Phil.
Yeah.
So the ball, I'd probably drop the ball back in your court there. Is that something that you can pick up and have a look at, please?
Yeah, that's fine. Can I just suggest the gates themselves?
Yeah.
The actual gates, there's actually nothing wrong with them. They just
really
look terrible. So can I just suggest maybe getting some firm to sandblast it all?
Well, my motion, Phil, would be to leave you in charge of the project.
Yeah, so I'm thinking if we can actually get them sandblasted, right? Because it's pointless trying to paint them the way they are. I mean, it's like 5-6 coats of paint on. I mean, it's flaking off, and you know what I mean. I mean, it wants a professional sandblasting job doing it, and then we can paint them properly and do a decent job. You know.
So
yeah, well, that was where I was thinking, Jason. If we built proper, because at the moment they're just on metal posts or whatever, if we put some proper stone gate posts in there, it would actually give Phil something to work to and hang them on and make a proper entrance as such. If he wants to take them off and some shot blast them or whatever and get them renovated, well, I'm happy with that idea as well. Yeah. I think it just needs some tender loving care and attention.
Yeah, so the action there would be, Phil, would you mind just if you get a few minutes in the next month just to throw some ideas down, see what you want and any support you might need from us?
Yeah, fine. Yeah, no problems.
That's magic. So we're all okay with that, aren't we? Sorry, Sal, got your hand up.
No, it's just a quick one. There is a company in New Mills that does sandblasting. So if he's got to get 3 quotes, I can get him that number. I don't know what they call, but I know there's one in New Mills, so I don't know where else there is.
Superb. There's no iron team, Stella, so if you've got that information, share it with us all. Thank you very much. Yeah. Right, motion 6, sorry, point 6.
Jason, sorry, can I just check? No, you're all right, look. So has everyone agreed that Phil can have a good look at getting some more gritstone to do these flower beds, Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, Emma, Phil, would you use your knowledge, please, whether you can actually just skim it or if you have to take it down? I understand what Stuart's saying, but want a decent job doing.
Yeah, to be honest, it's swings and roundabouts. You know, what I mean, we can either take it down, start again, or see. The thing is, they are single skin anyway, so yeah, it's easier just to put cladding on the outside of it. I mean, we could always change the shape, if you know what I mean.
That's whatever enhances that entrance.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Phil. Right. So, sorry. Are we okay with that now, then, Amia?
Yeah. Just wait to check.
Yeah. No, that's magic.
Sure,
Thank you, mate. Yeah. So, 16 is a motion from Councillor Young.
Lawnmower.
Yeah.
No.
Well, obviously, if you're handing over to me on that one,
I
asked for this to be put on. I know we made some other discussions and we've had other decisions, but obviously it's the start of the season, start of the year. And what I'd like to see is that we make a decision as this group, as the amenities group, so that it can go to full council and be ratified on Tuesday, that we can actually spend some money to get a decent mower as such. Because I know we've harped on about we need it, we should have it. It would cut down on the man's time if we got the right sort of mower. We said about using one just in the park with the what's it earlier and that. Phil sent out some stuff about the freeway, whatever, Mark 3, the mower that's the 3 gang that would be more suitable. And I know I've said in the past, if we'd got something that was emergency, we wanted doing because the weather was nice, you could have 2 men out, 1 on each mower. And that, if you've had a look at the mowers and everything, there's one that I think it's about 13,995 or something like that, which is what Phil was looking at. I would just like us to sort of say up to the price of, say, 15 grand for Phil to be able to get the mower that we need to do the job, and let's move forward, because we have got the money there. We were budgeting towards it regardless of what the budget was this year. The money's in the account to be able to do it. And the second part of it is, obviously, he sent out the pictures, which are the spiking machine for the bowling green part that we said, well, I think that's 1,500 quid. So I just would like us to make some decision that we can go ahead and get this, because this is the right time to buy it now, get it over here, get it ready to be used, and be able to start the season. And at least, as we say, I know we're going to look at drainage, but at least make the park, once people have got seats and everything to sit there, to be able to use it.
Thank you, Stuart. Nigel.
Yeah. So I know I spoke against spending large amounts of money on a mower last month, the month before, and I do think that I've changed my mind. At the time, we were thinking about how we could possibly scrimp together the money that we needed, and since then we've had the budget. It's given us some more flexibility about spending over the next year, and it is clear that having a better mower will produce a better park. So I'd just like to say I've heard the arguments and I've changed my mind.
Thank you, Nigel. Chris?
Yeah, I mean, because we're talking earlier about the landfill grant. So till we find out whether or not we've got a landfill grant for the mower, it's difficult, because obviously if we can get a landfill grant for it, then we can spend that money on something else for the good, that's good.
The only thing with this, Jason, is with the pictures that Phil sent through, I think he's time constrained. I think we should get on and get it done. But the other thing is, we are still looking at, at some point the tractor will want upgrading. The other mower will possibly want some work on it. We were talking about a trailer. I'm actually sure we can to use the money. It will if we more than less say it's going on equipment or park equipment, it'd probably even count when we do the grant for the grant. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just my way of thinking.
Stella?
I just think if it's needed, we need to get it. I know we're applying for a grant, but can't we just apply for the grant this week and get the mower and then see what happens with the money? And then if we get the money off the grant, then it, like you say, it can go to something else. Or we can put it back in and say that's bought the mower, and then with the money we've used for the mower, put somewhere else.
Thank you, Stella. Chris, I do hear what you're saying, but you know, it's been a bugbear of mine that we're asking Phil to produce wonders with really limited equipment. There's going to be a time save on it. We're going to get a better finish, and we're not sure how long this grant is going to take to come in. Do you think there's an opportunity to purchase a mower on behalf of the parish and still proceed with the grant down another avenue?
No, what I was saying is if a grant does pay for it, then we've got the money that we put to one side to spend on something else good.
Yeah, it's how long that offer may or may not. You know, in the meantime, what do we do? Okay,
is the one specifically available at this moment in time?
Yeah.
I mean, the whole idea of sending out a few pictures was just to give you an idea of obviously what I'd like to have in the park.
It's a free gang.
Yeah, and it's basically it's a child interested one that most people use. You know, it's fares are easy to come by.
And is it all cylinder? All three of them are cylinders, Phil?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I mean, that seems a reasonable. And if is it from a good source and that sort of stuff?
No, to be honest, I mean, I've just been scouring the internet, just trying to find examples. You know what I mean?
Right. So.
Well, I mean, if there is one there, if it is still for sale and it's a good, it's a good order, like it says, or I could pursue, other, and then because I mean, I've not actually done a lot of ringing round because obviously I didn't know whether, what the decision was. But if you're going to actually make the decision that yes, you're going to spend money, then, I mean, I'll start ringing round all the reps and all the companies, and you know what I mean, and get a few more,
But maybe I know the football club got a landfill grant, Jason. Do you know how long theirs took?
I don't. To be fair, it was a couple of months.
So it's not that long.
No, but I don't know. I don't know the difference between the football club and the memorial parish council. I don't know if Tarmac or the whoever it is that distributes the money. I don't know how they weight applications.
But basically, they put parish council down as parks are one of their priority,
right?
And the parish council, they've used the parish council equipment as one of their example schemes that ticked every box. So it looks high up on them.
Can I just, with you saying about, I mean, I understand the grant money's there and to apply for something, but it isn't just the lawnmower that Phil needs. So, I mean, like, we talked about trailers, haven't we, and this, that, and the other, and I could maybe apply for, like you said, if you want to get him the mower now, because obviously he's going to have to start cutting, because it's spring now, isn't it? We could apply for something else big that he needs, if you know what I mean.
No, I do. Yeah, Stella.
Can I just say that we've discussed this for the last 2 months, 2 meetings, and now we're discussing it again. So can we try and make a decision today, and then at least Phil can either he'll know he's getting one or he's not getting one, so we know what we go in. I mean, I think he should go and get it, but if he's got give him a certain amount and say that's my opinion.
Stuart, would you please put your motion to the council, please?
Well, my motion would be that we agree for Phil to go and get the 3-gang mower up to a value of £15,000 as new and as and to what he wants to be able to do the job.
Okay,
I'll
thank you. Do we have a second?
Yeah,
Nigel
yeah.
seconded it, right? Okay, all those for? Carried.
Right. Hey, that was easy.
Thank you. So that will be put forward to the council on Tuesday then, to be ratified by the full council. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it'll come through in the minutes, and because
Yeah.
all 5 of us have agreed it here,
Yeah.
Phil can get on and start doing it like the railings. So we're, you know, for the sake of, what have we, 2 days, we can get on and start with that. You can
Thank you,
start
sir.
looking.
Are you okay with that, Phil?
Yeah, I'll set the ball rolling then.
Order the manor now without. Yeah, okay, fabulous.
Yeah. It'd be like Christmas.
Thank you. Right, okay. So at 17, Phil, this is. I asked Emma to stick this in. Because you're the park manager, I think it's important that you take a part in a serious part in these meetings, and you do. But I'd like you to have your own little slot, really. Concerns, anything you want to raise, and just give us an idea of what you're up to. I've looked at some of your improvements in the park actually in the last few days on my power walk through lunchtimes, and it does look fabulous, Phil.
Yeah,
It looks
looking
fabulous.
a lot better.
It looks amazing. The benches and all of the benches have been used, haven't they?
Yeah, definitely.
Superb. So
No doubt
over to you,
about that.
Phil. This is your moment, Phil. Anything you've got to say, anything you want to say, I'm going to bring to the council.
I think maybe as from this meeting onwards, maybe it's an idea for me to just keep you updated with everything and just tell you a few of the ideas that I have for the park and how we're getting on with, different areas and what have you. So I'll just give you a bit of an update every month, every meeting, just to tell you what we've been doing basically. Yeah,
and any ideas that you might want to develop or that you might need support from financially from the councillors itself. So
Yeah. I think I'll say in the next meeting there's a few things, but I'd rather sort of look into myself, and then I can give you more information, and you know what I mean, on different bits and what have you. And then I could give you an update of like for instance, I've got you want me to do the wildflowers and stuff.
Yeah,
so, you know what I mean? All falls in line, doesn't it, with what's going on each meeting, like.
Yeah, superb. Thanks, Phil. So, Stu, you got it on quickly, Stu.
Yeah, it's only a quick one. Like you gave your at the beginning of the meeting with Emma with the update like that. If we could move the park manager's report to maybe somewhere there, and him give an update as well, it might save a lot of the stuff as we go through the meeting. That was what I was going to suggest to you. Pretty please. Point taken. Happy to accommodate. Emma and I will sort that for the next agenda. Okay, so there's no action really there for you, Emma. So we're on to 18, Emma.
Yeah.
There's correspondence. I'm happy to take this forward if you want, or would you want to?
No, you can. We briefly spoke about it, didn't we?
Yeah. So we'll go through them. Correspondence from Mr. House. So we spoke about the bench and the placement of, and we discussed some of the concerns that he may or may not have, and he contacted us to say that the decision that we made he was happy with and he was happy to go along with. So that was a positive communication from him. And I did say to him that if things developed, we'd revisit. I had a communication from a borough councillor asking us to sort the vegetation going out onto the footpath of Broughton Grange Road, and I believe that's been done, Phil.
It's completely cleared now.
Yeah, I walked past it. Yeah, it looked really tidy actually. I didn't want to say it had been done and it had died off. No, it looks fab. So we asked Emma to go back to the lady on Bowling Green Lane and just check that whilst the situation had improved, and it has, that a couple of instances that had still continued had been reported to the police, and they have been. So the police are aware, and people are monitoring that situation. But obviously, we have a time span on the gate being closed, and I believe that to be concluding the correspondence. Sam, I don't think we've got anything this month, have we?
No, you've just said, haven't you, about the one on Bowling Green Lane?
Yeah. Okay, so 19 then, Emma, is any other business?
I've not got any, no.
20. So, Emma, we needed to set a date for the one item agenda, which is the mugger, the one item, it's the mugger and the skate park, where the sole focus is on that, where we can bring ideas to the table. I know Chris has got a few, Nigel has a few. So can we throw a date about, please?
Yeah. 20, what is it today? 26. Don't need Phil here for that one, do you?
No, he's more than welcome to join. Sorry, Nigel, you've got a hand up.
Yeah, can I just say that we need to have it ahead of the April full council meeting if we're going to make any major changes?
Well, because it's just the one item agenda, it's literally just that. If it's easier, do it in an evening, so it's before April, because it's literally just that one. I mean, obviously, spending 3 hours on it is on a Friday afternoon is different to one item agenda, isn't it? I don't know. I don't know if it's just easier because obviously Jason rushes from work.
I do. Yeah. Stella.
What about after planning?
Yeah, we've got planning on the 9th, haven't we?
Because we've got planning,
Tuesday.
and that, I mean, last time that was it, less than 20 minutes.
Yeah, we've got a couple more, but there's nothing exciting. So, yeah, I mean, if you're quite happy.
But that's a Tuesday, Jay. How do you feel on a Tuesday?
Oh, we're still in lockdown still, aren't we? So I'm okay really Tuesday while we're in lockdown.
Yeah, so if you want, I can tag it on to
the 9th, and then it's done with.
Is everybody okay for the 9th?
Well, we've all got to be here for the planning, except for Stuart, but I'm sure he can come in after.
Yeah, he can. Yes. Are you all right with that, Chris? So the 9th, please, then, Emma.
Yeah. So I'll just do a time. What I'll do, because planning's 7, isn't it?
Yeah.
And obviously we don't want to be overrunning, so I'll probably just say something like 7:45. And if we finish early, just go and get a brew or something.
Right. Okay.
He says.
Okay. So that's so 21 date set for the next full amenities committee meeting. So we've got the 9th for the one item. So the next full committee would be
26th.
26th. Is that right?
Well, it's 4 weeks today.
Are you good for that, Emma?
Just having a quick scan.
I forgot, Emma, you don't work Friday afternoon, sorry. It's your time for you, isn't it?
Yeah, you'll probably have to, because the Friday after that's then like Good Friday, isn't it? So then it's going to go to like the 9th of April, and then you're at 2 months. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Can you do the 26th though?
I think I can. Just double checking. Like I said, nobody's going anywhere really, are they? But let me just check, because my daughter's birthday is. Yeah, no, it'll be fine.
That's 3 days before you're allowed to meet someone else in another family.
No, I was just checking because it's my daughter's birthday, so I was like, I'll just check that. But yeah, we won't be going anywhere, so it'll be all right.
Okay, so that's the 26th, the 9th. Okay, thank you very much. Right, item 22 was added to the agenda, but because of developments, we're not going to discuss that today.
Yeah.
Is that okay with everybody in this council? Chris? Yep, you okay with that?
I don't understand it.
Sorry, so we were going to go into part 2 and discuss that matter, but because of obviously the developments, it's now.
Okay, because it has to be named anyway. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so before we conclude, I'd just like to publicly thank Emma and Phil for their contribution. Emma, thank you very much for putting up with me in the last week with my demands, wanting to change things left, right and centre. I'd like to thank Phil for his contribution, councillors for listening to me for 2 and a little bit hours, members of the public for listening in, and I guess that calls it quits. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emma.
No, it's all right.
Thanks, Phil.
Thanks.
Cheers, mate. See you later.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everybody.